Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right but still not getting ahead? You work hard, try to save, pay your bills, and yet somehow, by the end of the month, your money just disappears. You start wondering, is this how life is supposed to be? Always running, always working, yet never truly feeling free? That quiet frustration, that sense of being stuck even when you're trying your best, is more common than you think. And it's not your fault. Most of us were never taught how money really works. We were told to go to school, get a job, save a little, and maybe one day we'll retire. But no one ever sat us down to show us how to build real freedom. The kind of freedom that lets you choose what your day looks like, how you spend your time, who you spend it with, and what kind of life you get to live. And that's what this video is all about. Not just making more money, not just budgeting or cutting back, but learning how to build a life where money supports your goals instead of controlling them. So if you're ready to stop surviving and start designing your future, you're in the right place. This is Financial Freedom 101, and this is where it begins. Part 1. What is financial freedom? So let's start with a simple question. What does financial freedom actually mean? Is it about being rich? Driving luxury cars? Owning a villa on the beach? Maybe, for some people. But for most of us, it's much simpler and far more meaningful. Financial freedom means not having to worry about whether you can pay the rent this month. It means being able to take a day off when you need it without guilt. It means having choices, the freedom to say yes to things that matter, and no to things that don't. It's about security, peace of mind, and the ability to live life on your own terms. And yet, so many of us are chasing money without ever stopping to ask what we actually want it to do for us. We're working harder and harder, hoping that someday we'll make it, but we're not even sure what that looks like. That's why this journey isn't just about tactics. It's about clarity, because financial freedom starts with understanding what you value most, and building your life around that. And here's something powerful to realize. You don't need to wait until you're older, or until you make six figures, or until the stars magically align. You can begin right where you are, with what you have. Because financial freedom isn't a destination for the lucky few. It's a path anyone can walk, as long as they're willing to take the first step. It's not about being perfect, or never making mistakes. It's about making better decisions, one step at a time, and watching those steps build momentum. And the best time to start? It's not someday. It's not when things feel easier. It's not when you feel ready. The best time is now. Part 2. Building the right mindset. But before we talk about strategies, budgets, or investments, we have to start with something deeper. Because no matter how many tools or tips you learn, none of it will stick if your mindset stays the same. The truth is, money problems often aren't just about money. They're about beliefs, habits, and emotional patterns that have been shaping your decisions for years. Sometimes without you even realizing it. Think about it. How were you raised to think about money? Did you hear things like money doesn't grow on trees? Or we can't afford that? Or rich people are greedy? Those ideas don't just disappear when you grow up. They stay with you. They become the lens through which you see every financial decision. And sometimes, they quietly sabotage you. You might avoid looking at your bank account because you're scared of what you'll see. You might spend impulsively to feel better after a rough day. Or you might believe deep down that you're just not good with money. So you don't even try. That's why the first real step toward financial freedom isn't a spreadsheet. It's awareness. It's starting to notice the stories you tell yourself about money. Are they empowering you, or limiting you? Because if you believe that money is always scarce, you'll always feel stuck, even when you're doing okay. But if you start shifting that belief, even just a little, toward abundance, toward possibility, things begin to open up. And this isn't just about positive thinking. It's about rewiring the way you see yourself in relation to money. You're not just someone trying to survive. You're someone learning how to grow. You're not stuck where you are. You're in motion. And every step you take, even the small ones, start to build a new identity. Someone who is capable. Someone who is learning. Someone who is becoming free. So ask yourself, what kind of relationship do I want to have with money? What kind of person do I want to become financially? Because the answer to that question will shape every choice from here on out. And the moment you begin to believe you can do this, even if you don't have all the answers yet, you've already started to change everything. Part 3. Assessing your financial health. Now that your mindset is shifting, it's time to get honest about where you are right now. Because you can't build a map without first knowing your starting point. This part isn't always fun. And for many people, it can feel uncomfortable, even overwhelming. But facing the truth is powerful. It puts you back in control. So let's start with 2 simple but important questions. What do you own? And what do you owe? Your net worth is the difference between your assets and your liabilities. It's a snapshot of your financial life. Not your worth as a person. Just the numbers. Add up everything you have. Your cash, savings, investments, maybe even the value of your car. Then subtract what you owe. Credit cards, student loans, personal loans, anything that still needs to be paid off. You don't need to judge the number. Just observe it. Then look at your cash flow. How much money is coming in each month? And where is it going? Are you spending more than you earn? Are you saving anything? Most people don't track this. And as a result, they live in a kind of financial fog. But once you see your numbers clearly, even if they're messy, they lose their power to scare you. You can't improve what you won't measure. And you might be surprised by what you find. Sometimes, small leaks are causing more damage than you realized. Subscriptions you forgot about. Habits that drain your income without bringing real value. This is where clarity begins. It's not about perfection. It's about awareness. Once you know where your money is going, you can start directing it with intention. And when you do that, even tiny changes can create momentum. So take a moment to pause. Open your banking app. Look at your numbers. Not with shame, but with curiosity. Because this isn't the end of your story. It's just the place where the real story begins to shift. Part 4. Budgeting and spending wisely. Once you've seen where your money is actually going, the next step is learning how to give every dollar a purpose. This is where budgeting comes in, but not in the way most people think. Because budgeting isn't about restriction. It's about direction. It's not about saying no to everything. It's about saying yes to the things that truly matter to you. A good budget doesn't feel like a prison. It feels like a plan for freedom. It tells your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. And the truth is, you don't need to make more to feel more in control. You just need to be intentional. There are many ways to build a budget, and the best one is the one that you'll actually stick to. Some people use the 50-30-20 method, splitting income between needs, wants, and savings. Others prefer zero-based budgeting, where every dollar is assigned to a job, down to the last cent. Some use apps. Some use spreadsheets. Some go old school with pen and paper. The method doesn't matter as much as the mindset behind it. Budgeting isn't about cutting joy out of your life. It's about cutting out what doesn't serve you so you can make room for what does. Do you really need every subscription you're paying for? Are you spending on things that align with your values? Or just reacting to stress, boredom, or social pressure? When you start making spending decisions based on intention instead of impulse, something amazing happens. You stop feeling guilty because you're in control. You stop chasing the next thing to feel better because your money is already supporting the life you want to build. And over time, that sense of control creates peace. So don't think of budgeting as something you have to do. Think of it as something you get to do. Something that gives you the power to design your future instead of drifting through it. Part 5. Getting out of debt. Now that you're starting to take control of where your money goes, it's time to face one of the biggest obstacles standing between you and financial freedom. And that's debt. For many people, debt feels like a heavy chain they're dragging through life. A quiet weight that creates stress, limits options, and steals peace of mind. And here's the hard truth. Debt is expensive, especially the kind with high interest. It grows quietly, even when you're doing nothing. And if you ignore it, it won't go away. It only grows louder. But here's the good news. You can take control of it. And the process is more empowering than it is painful. First, understand what kind of debt you're dealing with. Not all debt is created equal. A mortgage on a home that's growing in value is not the same as a credit card that's charging 20% interest on last month's dinner. The high-interest, fast-growing debt should be your main focus. Next, choose your approach. Some people start with the smallest balance first to create quick wins and motivation. This is called the snowball method. Others go straight for the highest interest debt first, which saves more money in the long run. And that's called the avalanche method. There's no perfect choice, only what works best for you and your mindset. The important thing is that you start. Build a plan, stay consistent, and celebrate progress. Even small wins matter, and while you're paying it down, do everything you can to stop it from growing. That might mean putting a temporary pause on certain spending habits or finding ways to earn a little extra just to speed up the process. But remember this, becoming debt-free isn't just a financial achievement, it's an emotional one. It's the moment you prove to yourself that you're no longer controlled by your past decisions. You're building a future that feels lighter, freer, and more in alignment with who you want to become. And when you've paid off that last payment, when you finally breathe without that weight pressing on you, it changes you. It makes the next chapter of your journey feel not only possible, but powerful. Part 6. Saving and emergency funds. Now that you're starting to clear the weight of debt, the next step is building something that gives you real peace of mind. And that's savings. Because financial freedom isn't just about building wealth, it's also about creating security. And nothing gives you a stronger foundation than knowing you're prepared for the unexpected. Life doesn't ask for permission before it throws something at you. A flat tire, a medical bill, a sudden job change. Things happen, and when you don't have savings, those moments feel like emergencies. But when you do, they're just inconveniences. That's the power of an emergency fund. It's not just money in a bank account. It's a buffer between you and chaos. It protects your goals, your focus, your progress. So how much should you save? A common starting point is 3 to 6 months worth of essential expenses. But if that feels overwhelming, begin with something small. Even $500 can make a huge difference when your fridge breaks or your car needs repairs. The key is to make saving automatic. Set up a separate account, one that you don't touch unless it's truly necessary. Automate a small transfer every time you get paid, even if it's just a little. Over time, small amounts grow, and once your emergency fund is in place, you can start thinking about other savings goals. Maybe you want to travel, move to a new city, start a business, go back to school. Whatever your dreams are, they become possible when you start setting money aside intentionally. You can even create what some people call sinking funds, small buckets of savings for specific future expenses. It turns future stress into present confidence. Because here's the beautiful part about saving. It's not about depriving yourself today. It's about protecting your future self. It's an act of care, of responsibility, of vision. And every time you choose to save, even when it would be easier to spend, you're proving to yourself that you're in control, that your life is no longer driven by reaction, but by design. Part 7. Introduction to investing. Once you've built your foundation with savings and security, it's time to take your first steps into one of the most powerful tools for long-term freedom. And that is investing. Now, the word investing can feel intimidating. It might bring up images of stock tickers, financial news, complicated charts, or people in suits talking about markets all day. But here's the truth. Investing doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the most effective approach is often the simplest. And the earlier you start, the more powerful it becomes. Why? Because of something called compound growth. It's when your money starts earning money, and then that money earns more money. And over time it begins to grow faster than you ever imagined. The difference between someone who starts investing at 25 versus someone who waits until 35 is not just 10 years. It could be hundreds of thousands of dollars in the long run. That's the magic of time. So don't wait to become an expert. Don't wait until you think you're ready. Start learning by doing. Even a small investment is a big first step. Begin with what you understand. Many people choose index funds or ETFs, which are simply baskets of many companies that grow over time with the economy. They're low cost, diversified, and historically reliable. If your job offers a retirement plan like a 401k or similar, take advantage of it, especially if your employer matches your contributions. That's free money. If you don't have access to one, you can still invest through individual accounts and retirement options available in your country. The key is consistency. Don't try to time the market. Don't chase trends or panic when the news gets loud. Just keep adding, little by little, and let time do the heavy lifting. And remember, Investing isn't just about growing your money. It's about buying your freedom. The freedom to stop working when you want to support causes you care about, to take care of your family, to say yes to opportunities without fear. Every dollar you invest is a future moment of choice you're creating for yourself. So don't let fear or confusion hold you back. You're not too late. You're not behind. You're right on time. And the best way to learn is to begin. Part 8. Income growth and multiple streams. Now that your money is starting to work for you, it's time to talk about something that can accelerate everything you've been building. And that is growing your income. Because while budgeting and saving help you manage what you already have, increasing your income expands your possibilities. And there's only so much you can cut from your expenses. But your earning potential, that can grow in ways you haven't even imagined yet. The idea isn't just to work more hours. It's to work smarter, to build value, and to create multiple streams of income that support your goals. Start by looking at your main source of income. Are there opportunities to grow within your current role? To take on more responsibility, learn new skills, or ask for a raise based on the value you bring? Many people underestimate their ability to negotiate or upgrade their income just by becoming more intentional at their job. But don't stop there. In today's world, there are endless ways to create income beyond your 9 to 5. You can freelance, offer a service, sell a product, build something online, teach what you know, or leverage a hobby into extra cash. It might start small, a few $100s a month, but that small stream could eventually grow into something that gives you real freedom. And beyond active income, think about building passive income. That's money that continues to flow even when you're not working every hour for it. It can come from investments, rental income, royalties, digital products, or businesses that run with systems in place. It doesn't happen overnight, but with patience and strategy, it becomes real. And as your income grows, so does your ability to save more, invest more, and move faster toward your vision. But here's the key: don't grow your income just to increase your lifestyle. That's a trap many fall into, where every raise gets eaten by bigger expenses. Instead, grow your income to increase your freedom. Use the extra to build assets, not just upgrade consumption, because every extra dollar you earn is an opportunity to buy back your time. Create space, reduce stress, and design a life that feels aligned with who you truly are. Part 9. Building a long-term financial plan. At this point, you've learned how to shift your mindset, organize your money, eliminate debt, build savings, invest for the future, and even grow your income. Now it's time to take all of that and bring it together into something powerful and lasting. A long-term financial plan that supports the life you actually want to live. Because without a clear direction, even good habits can drift. But with a plan, you're no longer just reacting to life. You're designing it. So take a moment to imagine your future. What does your ideal life look like in 5 years? In 10 years? Even in 20? Do you want to retire early? Travel more? Own a home? Start a business? Have a family? Move to a new city? Or simply have the freedom to choose what your day looks like? These aren't just dreams. They're clues. They help you define your goals. And once your goals are clear, your financial choices gain focus. You can begin to reverse engineer your actions. How much do you need? And by when? What does that mean for your saving rate, your investment strategy, your career moves? And just as important, how will you check in with your plan over time? Life changes. Plans evolve. That's normal. But the habit of reviewing your financial picture regularly helps you stay on track. Catch blind spots and make adjustments without drifting too far. Maybe every 3 months, maybe twice a year. Take an hour to look at your net worth, your spending, your progress. Celebrate the wins, learn from the setbacks, and adjust without judgment. A long-term plan doesn't mean you need every step figured out in advance. It just means you know what direction you're headed, and you're walking toward it with intention. And here's something powerful to remember. Your plan is not just about money. It's about the kind of life you want to experience. Financial freedom isn't just the absence of stress. It's the presence of choice. And every smart decision you make today is a vote for the life you'll get to live tomorrow. So here you are, at the end of this journey. Or maybe more accurately, at the beginning of a new one. Because now, you don't just have information. You have clarity. You've started to see how money can shift from something that creates stress to something that creates possibility. You've seen that financial freedom isn't a fantasy reserved for the lucky few. It's a process, a mindset, and most importantly, a choice. And the most important thing to remember is that you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to begin. Small steps, taken consistently, lead to big change. You'll make mistakes. You'll have setbacks. But if you keep showing up, keep learning, and keep choosing intention over impulse, you will build something real. You'll create options. You'll create peace. You'll create a life that feels like your own. And that's the ultimate goal. Not just to have more money, but to have more control, more space, more time, more meaning. So whatever stage you're at right now, whether you're digging out of debt, just starting to save, investing your first $100, or launching your first side hustle, know this: you are doing the work. You are changing your story. And every step you take is proof that you're becoming someone who doesn't just hope for freedom but builds it. Day by day, your future self is already proud of you. So keep going. Stay curious. Stay focused. Stay free.